What is going on YouTube? I don't know, this is a good video, maybe a bad video. Definitely good for the wallet, but maybe bad on perhaps the state of the game right now. On pretty much what is the best money-making strategy in the game by far. It's not even close. The only thing that's probably close is Sekima. This is pretty much 30 div an hour with virtually zero variance in the runs. So the TLDR, these bat beacon bullshit things, these are Citadels, 100% guaranteed. This is what it looks like in the fog. This is what it looks like out of the fog. When you kill the boss in the zone, it'll be an Act 1 through 3 boss. They will drop fragments that you can then use as keys in order to get into the Arbiter boss fight. Now, in case you don't know, these fragments sell for like 1.5 to 2 div each. And we are dropping them minimum of 2 per map if you've set it up properly. So the crazy thing about this is that they just buffed it in the most recent patch. These are 66% more likely to spawn now. And then not only that, but I'm pretty sure they spawn in like either pairs or triples. All I know is if you find one, there's generally at least one nearby. Each one of these is minimum 3.5 div profit. We're going to get into a way where we min-max this a little bit further later, but that's the idea. So you just spam Grand Precursor tablets to tower hop throughout the Atlas, and then you chain these Citadels. How much money did I make doing this? A disturbing amount. Let's call it 6 hours. I spent 6 hours doing this, and I made 245 div. Now that's not including the cost, which we'll get into in a second. Some of them sell for like 1.86, one of them sells for 1.5, and then the other one sells for almost 2. So the revenue for this is 245 div. What are the costs? In the time I spent doing this, I probably used 40 Grand Precursor tablets. All these in my inventory here, or all these in my stash, I bought for 200 exalts or less. The majority of them I actually bought for closer to 100 something exalts just because they were a lot cheaper a few days ago. Let's just be conservative though and call it 200x times 40. So it was around 8,000 exalts. And if we take a look at exalt prices right now, we'll call it 10 div to be conservative. First of all, god damn. What the hell happened to exalt prices? That is a fucking disaster. Second of all, 32 vision tablets at 4 nulls each. When a nulls were 1 divine could buy 2.5. So 4 divided by 2.5, these were roughly 1.6 divine each. So 32 times 1.6, that brings us to around 51 div, which means our total profit is 184 divine. When you're buying these tablets, please boys, you have to be careful out there. There are some actual demonic scammers. Oh, someone just bought the 40 div tablet. Someone just bought the 40 div tablet. Oh my god. I watched that shit happen live, man. You have to be careful out here. These motherfuckers are all scammers. That's what I've learned. He has a 95 div tablet just stuck in the middle here. This guy's a fucking criminal. You are a criminal. Now, it took us a little bit less than 6 hours to run this, but we'll call it 6 hours. So divide this shit by 6. We are making over 30 div an hour. Keep in mind, I was streaming this whole time, so you can check the VOD to see if I'm bullshitting or whatever. It was roughly 2 hours to do all the tablet jumping, maybe like 2 hours 15. And then it was around 4 hours to do all the maps. You vision them once, and then you have to run it again. So it was like every single Citadel we found, we ran twice. I was streaming this all. I was kind of fucking around. I died many times, like 5 or 6 times. So the profit of this is actually like significantly higher. Number one, because you're not going to be dying as many times as I did. And number two, because you're probably going to be running them faster. I was just fucking around reading chat. I wasn't super sweating this, but you could easily get to, I think, 35 div an hour, maybe even 40 if you are efficient with your time and you don't die at all. The last thing I want to get into is the math on this. So if you think about this, vision tablets were 1.6 div each. If you're running the maps that weren't specifically the tertiary calamity, so number 2 and number 1, these are worth around 2 div each. I was guaranteeing at least 2 fragments per completion. We can assume even the most conservative case here where it's 1.5 div. Every time you complete one of these Citadels, it's going to be 1.5 div times 2, which is 3 div. So if we spend 1.6 div, it's still a 1.4 div profit. And then when you actually use it on the better ones, it's like a 2.4 div profit. So that's kind of like how I rationalized why I use the visions. Now, if the vision prices go to the point where they're like 2 div each, fragment prices go to the point where they're like, 1 div each, then it gets to the point where, okay, it's not worth it to run the visions anymore. You skip that part. That's just like the calculation you need to go through in order to figure out whether or not it's worth it to use the vision. Another thing you need to include is how likely is it for you to die? I was dying in like 5% of my maps. That kind of cuts into the margin for whether or not it's useful to use the vision as well. But if you're not dying ever, it's very, very profitable to use the vision, and I would highly recommend that you use it. I don't know if it's important to include this or not, but I did drop other loot. I probably dropped 20 div and other loot during the 6 hours, but one was a Calandra's Touch, and then I think I dropped 6 raw div. So take that how you will. Use that information however you like. I didn't include it in the profit calculation, but you're doing 6 hours of maps, right? So there is going to be a pretty significant chance that you're going to drop some decent loot, like currency, exceptional bases, etc. So like I said before, I was able to drop guaranteed 2 fragments per map. How was I doing that? You might not know this, but these fragments are considered waystones. They're coded as waystones, and waystone modifiers will affect, and in this case, benefit us. So I was running maps that look like this, with a minimum of 200% waystone drop chance here. In conjunction with our tablets, we were able to get like plus 500% waystone drop chance cumulatively on our maps at a minimum. There were cases where all the way up to like 700%. And those were the times where we were dropping 3 fragments. Although keep in mind, I probably ran like 70 of these Citadels, and I only dropped 3 frags like 7 times maybe. So like 10% of the time. It is very, very rare to get 3 fragments, even if you juice it properly. Just want to put that out there. If you go on trade, you'll see that a map with 200 plus waystone rarity is going to cost you like maybe like 100 something exalts. It's kind of expensive. Instead, I recommend that you roll them yourself. Rolling these maps are super simple. I would recommend that you roll them in batches of at least like 20 or some shit, just because rolling maps is super tedious to do, and if you don't roll them in big batches, it's going to feel really bad. So I usually do them in like 40, but you can obviously do them as many as or as little as you want. You just alch all of your maps. After you finish making sure all your maps are at least rare, I don't know if this is positive EV or not because I can't profit trade, so this is what I do. If you can profit trade, it actually might be worth it to desecrate prefix, like not purposefully desecrate for prefix, but just raw dog desecrate instead of using the dextral one. But the dextral ones have the best percentage increased waystone drop chance. You're going to want to run at least 200+%. So if you look on trade right now, waystone 15, it needs to be 15 in order to actually run the Citadels. And I was just looking for like waystone chance 200 or above. And besides these 2 here, they generally sell for like 100x each. I know this because I've checked this a few times now, and it's generally around like 180x. Like that range. Ultimately, we are going to be rolling for 200% as our minimum. A lot of the waystones we're going to get are going to be around the 220 range. And 30% waystone difference is actually quite meaningful because it gets multiplied by all this other bullshit. So what you do is after you make them all rare, like we just did, like I said, am going to use these dextrals. You don't have to desecrate all of these. These dextral thingies here, these cost like 1 exalt each. From this point on, we are going to want to exalt orb all of them. Fill in all the affixes. Cool. So now, as you can see, a lot of these maps have fairly high waystone percentage chance. Every single affix gives you some waystone percentage chance, with some obviously giving better. And keep in mind, these are all 5 mods because the desecration hasn't been revealed yet. Now, the very fucking annoying part, the distillation. These envies, how much are they right now? Envies, I think I was buying these for like 1.7 each. Very, very cheap stuff. But even if you're paying like 3 exalts each, it's only like 9 exalts to desecrate each map, right? So, not bad at all. This whole process, right, is only going to take you like 5 minutes to do. It's not that bad at all, actually. They're all distilled at this point, and as you can see, the distillation adds like another 90. So from here, what you can do is you could theoretically just like, if they're good maps, like this is going to be at least a 200% waystone map, you could just put it aside and then call it a day here. But everything that's like 170 or below, I would say you should just YOLO Evolve on them, because there's a pretty significant chance that when you YOLO Evolve, it will increase the number of mods that you have, thus increasing the number of waystone percentage you have. Awesome. That's all of them. Tier 14s you can't really utilize. That's fine. And then also the tier 16s I don't use. I think you can sell these for a good amount, but these other ones are the ones that are left. And as you can see, this one hit like 7 mods with a desecration. This is going to be like 240% waystone drop chance minimum. And the whole cost for this is pretty much just like 40 exalts per map at most, right? So the actual modifiers that you care about on these maps are going to be essentially like just the ones that can give you more waystone drop chance. And for the suffixes, the best is going to be mana siphoning. It gives you 35. The second best is going to be grasping vines. It gives you 30. And then after that, you're going to want just like not Union of Souls. You cannot run Union of Souls. Everything else is fine. I mean, this one gives you 40%. If you can run this mod confidently, then this is a really good one. It gives you the most, but like a terrible, terrible mod to run just in terms of general enjoyment plus mental health. Right, awesome. And as a result, like look at these maps, 225, 210, 180, that's bad, 240, bad, 190 is okay, 225, 240, 225, 240, 255. There's a lot of really, really good, more than 200% drop chance maps. Anything above 200% is going to cost you like at least 100 exalts. Something like 240 Waystone drop chance is going to cost you, it's around a div in order to get one of these giga Waystone drop chance ones. So that's how you roll the maps. It's quite simple, honestly. And for the tablets, high percentage increase Waystone on your tablets. I think these probably just work additively with each other, not multiplicatively. So I just did a weighted sum between these two of 50 or higher. And these tablets only cost me like 100x to get. Like pretty cheap to get the tablets. And these add another 150% Waystone quantity on your maps. Now you might not know this, but there are two types of fragments. There are the crisis fragments, and then there's the calamity fragments. The red ones are the good ones. As you just saw, these are the ones I was selling. The ancient fragments, these ones suck. These are like 50 exalts each. They're not worth anything. These crisis fragments and the calamity fragments are dropped from the same place. However, if you use all of your boss points while you fight these Citadel bosses, you will guarantee get the calamity fragments, which are worth multiple divs. If you don't use all your boss points, you will get the crisis fragments, which are worth shit. So this right here, I think, is the most valuable point distribution that you could use. You go right side for quant instead of rarity, because quant actually affects the number of fragments that you drop. And then you come up here through the middle for an additional shrine, just makes killing the boss a little bit easier. And then you come over here, you don't care about this, you don't care about this, you only care about more quant, because more quant equals more fragments. That's what I would recommend that you do for the boss fragments, and you need to kind of, at the very least, put in 10 points, or else you won't get the correct fragments. And then here's the Atlas. I think this is the most efficient way to get the most quantity on your maps. You want all of these percentage quant Waystone nodes here. I don't know if there's a way you can actually get this last Waystone node. The only thing you really care about is explicit modifiers, which then equates to more Waystone percentage, and then precursor tablet modifier increase, which also equates to more Waystone percentage chance, as well as the actual Waystone quantity nodes and the actual just regular quantity nodes that you have here. But that, I think, is the most efficient way to get there. And that's pretty much how you do everything. But just to kind of like give you a picture of what I was doing really quickly, I'm going into the map and I'm pushing the fog. When I have towers like these that are pushing into the fog, I use a Grand Precursor tablet, run any map on here. It will then allow me to clear this fog, but also, if you see here, it'll allow me to access every single map within the range of this tower. The only thing that's changed about this is you now have to place the Grand Precursor tablet into the tower before you run it. I forgot to do this many times, don't be like me. After you do that, this will then allow me to go to this tower, and then once I get to this tower, I do the same thing. I keep on doing what is called tower hopping through the fog, until you find a situation like this where you have like 3 Citadels next to each other, or even 1 or 2. Keep clearing with the Grand Precursor tablet and then accessing all of these Citadels. The first time you do the Citadel, you're going to want to run it with the Vision. In case you don't know, Visions now don't make it so the irradiation gets removed first. Now, if the map was not previously irradiated, you can now irradiate the map and then not consume and finish the map. So you can only get 2 uses out of a Vision maximum now, and you have to use the Vision first. After that, you just use the Waystone that I just showed you how to roll. That has 200 plus Waystone drop chance, and then you're going to want to just use high quant Waystone maps in order to boost your Waystones even further. But yeah, that's pretty much start to finish the whole strategy. Again, I made 30 div an hour doing this. It's really simple to do. I definitely still want to hunt that white whale of the multiple tank per map, solo, not super expensive mapping strat. But in the meantime, I have this tech for you guys to make just an absolute shit ton of money. Get it while it's still hot, because I imagine over the course of the next couple of days, the price of the Grand Precursors, the price of the Visions are going to go up a lot, and the price of the fragments might go down pretty significantly as well. But anyways, that's all I had for the video, guys. If this was helpful for you guys, please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me a lot with the algorithm and all that stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.